Hello, nurses. How are you all doing? It is good to see you all again. Oh, what a day. What a day. I tell you, taking care of patients is not for the faint of heart. I hope this video finds you all doing well. Remember, the plan is to touch base and check in every day. Consider this your daily wellness check. I'm that person you'd find that goes around the office or goes around the hospital and pokes their head in the room and go, wellness check. I'm always reaching out to see how everyone is doing. Can't help it. I guess that's just part of who I am. I can't even say it's part of me just being a nurse, but just checking in, hoping that you have had a great day. And I feel like even if you've had a really tough part or start to your day, that you know that it's not going to always be like that. And that I know I say it so often, but what you do really does matter. I have patients who come to me, and I'm sure those that come to you who thank you for the time you take with them, or family members that come by and thank you for the time you take with their loved one. It doesn't go unseen. It's unfortunate when it goes unchecked, but know that people are watching, even if they don't always say. Sometimes nursing can be a very thankless job. We are dealing with people at some of the worst spaces and places of their lives. Like when they think about us and think about our interactions, inevitably it takes them to a time when there's a lot of uncertainty in their life. People who may be ill and not quite sure what that looks like for them. Someone who is waiting for a diagnosis, had a lot of testing done, but the provider is unsure of exactly what may be going on in their body. Just the fear that's attached to that. And unfortunately, sometimes we take the brunt of those emotions, those negative emotions. Unfortunately, we're the ones who are yelled at. We're the ones where people dump on and they're rude to us. And we've always had to take one for the team. We've always been the ones who've had to turn the other cheek because the patient, like the customer, is always right. We've had to minimize and tamp down our emotions so that we don't come off as angry caregivers. When sometimes we really are angry and we don't have that luxury or the luxury of being able to show just how upset we are with patients, family members, situations. We're expected to allow ourselves to be like a duck and allow the negative things they say and do to roll off of our backs like water off of a duck's back. Sometimes impossible. And it's still sad to this day that we're being asked to do that. We're being asked to overlook these glaring grievances. They don't make us better. If anything, they make us angrier and make us more frustrated. But that doesn't have to be where it stops and where it ends. Sometimes we have to take the role of self advocate because no one else is going to advocate on that level for us, especially when there are competing motives at play. It isn't always about what's going to be best for you as the nurse and your well being. It would be great if that were the case, but that's not always the case. And sometimes it's a matter of just having an opportunity to really share how you feel and what that looks like for you, and when to say no, and when to say, yes, I'm available to do. But having the autonomy that comes with our role as nurses or our roles as nurses is imperative. It's hard to do what we do when you're being micromanaged, when you're not given the latitude that's necessary for you to meet your patients and your clients where they are. There's a reason why nurses are so well trusted because we're not used to or usually used to sugarcoating things. We have to give really serious news, and oftentimes we don't have that cushion, emotional cushion that we could put under our clients and patients before we deliver certain news. The most we do is we become very reactive. We know that there are things that have to be said, but once we say it, we're in caregiver and protector and nurturing mode because we don't want this person who's received this life changing news to feel unsupported. But even in that, we give so much of ourselves, we give so much of our energy, emotions, that once we've given that out, we're not necessarily getting it back. And if we do, it's a version of what we've said and what we've experienced. I invite and I implore you to take a look at what being a safe space and place for a resident or a patient looks like. Unfortunately, sometimes it'll look like your needs not being met, but these conversations are what allows us to advocate for ourselves because situations like that, like being verbally abused and being overlooked and minimized, unfortunately, those things aren't going away in the immediate future. But what we can do is begin to train others in terms of how to address us as nurses and caregivers. Because it's something that you have to constantly work at, I understand that changes like that won't be made overnight. But you are on the right path to seeing those changes, experiencing those changes, and being in a better place and space for yourself. So, I'm going to get ready to sign off, but I wish you the most amazing day. Be you, regardless of whoever is changing around you. Advocate like your life depended on it. And in many cases, your patient's life depends on your ability to advocate for them. So continue doing the amazing work you're doing. And until next time, take care, stay safe, and be well.